Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. Today we are doing a spoiler-filled discussion rant review of Wonder Woman 1984, 84. When I first saw the 84, I thought, shit, there's been 83 fucking sequels I had didn't know about. But no, it's just called Wonder Woman 84, and it's the second Wonder Woman solo movie starring Gal Gadot. I'm with my usual partner in crime, Cousin Cheeto. Say hello to the masses, my friend.
Howdy.
Great.
Hold on a second.
Now, no problem.
There we go. Okay. I just wanted to switch it because you're hosting.
No problemo. Now, if anybody who watches our streams, how we usually do it is we do, I basically watch the show a couple of times, take some notes, and then we basically discuss it play by play because we like to do that with things like Star Wars and Star Trek and stuff like that. But these one-off particular movies, they're a bit different, aren't they? You don't need me to explain it to you if you've already seen it, because we are talking spoilers, and surely you're only going to watch this review if you've seen the fucking film. So,
or if you don't care.
First of all, you want to talk about characters, or do you want to just talk about how you feel about this movie, Bob?
Let's start off with the overview, and then maybe we can go into the characters specifically.
Okie dokie. Anything you want to get off your chest first of all?
I didn't mind this movie so much. There were I honestly feel like there were definitely some positives over the first movie and this one. Over the first one. And there were definitely some drawbacks. But I don't feel like this movie suffered from anything in particular rather than following up a movie that was bigger than itself, if you know what I mean. There was a lot of hype on the first Wonder Woman. And it was a great movie. I loved it. It's probably, I'd have to look at my list, but it's probably my favorite DCEU movie so far. Besides Batman v Superman, you all know we love that movie above all.
Kidding. I keep saying, watch the director's cut. It's a lot better than...
No, the director's... No, okay, we're not getting into that. The director's cut is just as bad. Anyway... So the overall, I liked the villains in this. I see where I do see where a lot of people had the issues of not being able to spend enough time with these characters. But then again, you have technically two villains. I felt like a lot of the progression of the movie was natural, though. It wasn't. I didn't feel like a lot of the movie was forced at all, in my opinion. It kind of get, the fish out of water sense with Trevor, and maybe we can get more into this when we talk about characters, but overall the fish out of water dynamic with Trevor was, I thought, better executed than Thor in the first.
My favorite parts of the film, actually.
Huh?
If we're going to get to that bit, I mean, just seeing Trevor look at this world, and I can almost feel him in this place. Like when this train just goes by, he must feel like he's in like the most advanced technological future you can imagine, and seeing the planes and stuff.
Well, you had some people who were saying, "Oh, he was in World War II." I thought that they had something.
World War One. I mean,
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, no, he was World War One. They didn't even have like their airplanes were just so basic back then. They were so they were thinking that he was overreacting a little bit, and I'm like, no, this is not World War II. This is World War One.
We're talking Blue Max era, those sort of planes with no fucking roofs and shit like that. Just maybe two seats. That's it. One in front of each other.
Basically, Leonardo da Vinci was rolling them off the lot. I mean, almost.
Yeah, pretty much. So even things like the trains under, all of that sort of stuff, underground trains and stuff like that. It's just, it would be absolutely fascinating. It was a bit weird that this was whole. I mean, usually we have fictional cities in DC universe, and this one was taking place in Washington. It makes sense, obviously, because the president was involved. I did find the opening of this film to be very tonally different to what the rest of the film ended up being. Like, it reminded me of like the classics. I mean, this whole film reminded me of the classic Superman films, right down to Diana herself. Even she felt like a female Superman. But the beginning of the movie felt like Superman with all the fucking stupid bumbling criminals, and Superman takes care of them and stuff like that. And tells everybody have a nice day and shit like that. But here, Diana Prince, she doesn't even have fucking glasses to fucking conceal her identity. I mean, she looks the same with or without the fucking costume. You know what I mean? It's just so weird.
As Diana Prince, her hair is pulled back. As Wonder Woman, her hair is free flowing.
Oh yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking, which is fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. But
I mean, I agree with you. I was kind of sitting there going, but like, I think they were trying to set an '80s tone. So
yeah, I agree.
So and also B, I think they were trying to
in various ways they were setting an '80s tone.
Yeah. So I really feel like I really feel like that they were really leaning hard and setting that tone. And you're right.
I want to get
the rest of the movie.
I need to get these off my chest before I forget. Like, have you seen the movie Heaven Can Wait?
No.
With Warren Beatty, he basically plays a guy who gets killed. Yeah, and he doesn't want to die yet. He wants to still keep living, and he's not supposed to die, and these angels have made a mistake because he wasn't supposed to die, so he goes back into another body, and that's
I feel like I've seen that movie though. Like I feel that premise sounds familiar.
Yeah, that premise has also been done by what's his face, that actor. Oh God, that black actor, the comedian, stand-up comedian, Chris Rock.
Oh yes, that's probably the one I've seen.
Yeah, that was the remake of Heaven Can Wait, where he plays in Heaven Can Wait. I believe he's a singer, or maybe a stand-up comedian. I think he's a singer. But in the Chris Rock, I think it's called Down to Earth, the Chris Rock version, which is a remake, of that film, and he plays a stand-up comedian and stuff like that. Yeah. And they used that premise because those were 80s movies and stuff like that. They did a lot of the cliches with the montages. 80s movies loved montages, and when he was fucking going through different changes of outfits, he was those were montages, if you know what I mean. And also they were so fucking 80s. It was kind of cliche with some of the plots and some of the devices, some of the plot holes as well. Like even the beginning of the fucking movie, like this where it starts with Infammascara, it had no fucking relevance. Pretty much no relevance.
That opening sequence was so long. I thought it was gonna be like a minute or two, like opening sequence. It's like no, there's like a freaking what is it? American Ninja or whatever? Like it was a whole thing.
Like an Iron Man context.
Iron Man it's like I was like, holy crap, how long is this opening gonna go?
Yeah, exactly. Like a decathlon and shit like that, like superhuman decathlon. And but yeah, I found that all a bit weird because I wish some of those moments from that scene. I think only one thing which was said about not taking a shortcut and stuff like that was the only significant thing to come from that opening scene. But a lot of people are saying is basically that some of the actresses they had who were the Amazonians, like the mother and the auntie, Robin Wright and stuff like that, they were contracted to be in the sequel, and so they had to use them somehow. And it kind of shows you they had nowhere to go because just to jump to the end, there was no end fucking credit scene. There was a mid-credit scene, which felt very CW, but there was no fucking end credit scene. So because they got nowhere to fucking go, you know what I mean? After this film, what's next? The fucking Snyder Cut? That's 3 years in the past. So, but going back to this, I wanted to really like this film. And it's kind of weird that we didn't get an action scene as Wonder Woman for a massive period of the film. Like until she went to Egypt, she got her outfit out. And then, and by the way, she's taking hints. The way she was doing her superheroing, she was like the fucking Flash. You're like, okay, doing shit and then disappearing and doing it really quickly. I understand she's a lot faster than your average human being. But the way they made her fucking run in Egypt on the ground like that when she's chasing the cars, it looked fucking awful. It looked comedic. You know what I mean? And so I just want to get more of my negatives out. I sometimes find, and to take this how you want, and because people are going to be offended by this, I sometimes found Gal Gadot a little bit hard to understand. Some of the words she's saying, the way she pronounced some of the words, I didn't know what the fuck she was saying. I don't know if you had that.
I remember you saying that before I watched it. Like we talked in our chat, and I remember you saying that. And I didn't really hear any. There were no points where I was like, "What?" Actually, who was it? There was one person in the movie who I just could not understand. I think it was either the little kid, like Maxwell Lord's son, or the one hippie dude. I had to stop and rewind it a little bit to hear.
The Middle Eastern guy who was who ended up having the wall fucking built around his city. Not that dude. It was a bit hard to
No, you
understand.
I might have, but I don't think I stopped and rewound that one. But I know there was one point when I had to stop and rewind twice to hear what the kids said. And
Yeah.
and then there was once I had to stop and rewind once to hear what the guy, like the guy with the dreadlocks with the Jerry Lawler magazine said. By the way,
Oh,
cameo.
another thing, another 80s trope, like the the nerdy awkward girl who, when she takes off her fucking glasses and then puts them back on again. Oh, sorry, not puts them back on. When she takes off her glasses and then she lets her hair down and puts them heels, all of a sudden
Oh,
she's
so
fucking hot.
sexy.
It's like all of a sudden you're hot as fuck. And that's been done so many times in Hollywood in the past.
Well, but I kind of also, well, okay, if we're gonna go down that route, I kind of feel like she carried herself differently. I felt like that was one thing that I was watching for, how they're gonna make this character work.
Did she always look physically great underneath her frumpy clothes, or did she end up just becoming physically a little bit different?
I think
Because,
I think once she started developing, like, the Amazonian powers and stuff, like, I honestly, and I know this is going to sound shitty, but I honestly would have made her a bit chunkier, only because you can see the definite difference, like when she starts to tone up and lose the weight, like, because she wishes to be like Gal Gadot, or not Gal Gadot, but she wishes to be like Diana Prince. So, it kind of I would make a physical change. Like, you're right. Like, oh, she takes off the glasses, but she's already hot underneath all the clothes anyway. So it's like, and her hair's down. Like, what's the difference? I would have made a physical transformation, in body structure or whatever.
You don't think that happened? Because I wasn't sure.
It
That's why
might happen. As I said, she was wearing baggy clothes in the beginning. So they might have been trying to make that insinuation that she's not really physically fit. But but they didn't make it apparent enough. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's funny as well. Like, like, for instance, like, there's things they kind of set up, and I didn't think they paid off. For instance, like, where the character of Barbara is going to end up. You know that she's going to end up being Cheetah. So when she's walking around as the nerd and she sees the homeless man and she says, "Hi, Carl," or whatever the fuck his name is, I think to myself, yeah, I know that's going to end up being a different scenario later on where he doesn't recognize her. But the way it was done so fucking poorly after she beat up that geezer, who deserved it, by the way, because he's a fucking rapist, potential rapist. So beat the fuck out of him. I have no problem with that. We almost were supposed to feel sorry for him. It was a bit weird. I mean, he was going to rape her if fucking Diana didn't intervene in the park. And then she finds this guy, and this guy's still fucking trying it afterwards.
And she stood up for herself, and she did it.
Yeah, she beat the fuck out of him, and I didn't
feel bad for him one bit. I mean, I would have felt bad if he would have died, like if she would have killed him. But no, I feel like he got what he deserved.
I think she should have killed him, and that's the one thing in this film. Mm-hmm. The amount of fucking craziness in this movie, nobody died.
I thought Cheeto was a goner when that wire landed in the water. I thought they were going to kill her.
Yeah. I'm very glad it never affected Wonder Woman, because that would have pissed me off that somehow Wonder Woman could be electrocuted and shit. Because she's pretty.
She had her powers back at that point. I was going to say, I feel like it might have affected her if she didn't have her powers. Like, if her powers were fake.
Yeah, let's go on about the powers. Obviously, we understood that, asking for Trevor to come back meant that she would lose some of her powers. She was finding it a little bit difficult to pull the fucking lock off the latch. All right, fair enough. But then she still seemed pretty powerful when she was dealing with those Egyptian security guards.
I agree with you. I felt like that. I felt like, yeah, she had. I mean, okay, so she took a gunshot. Okay, she was not on her A game with a lot of that. I don't think Wonder Woman is bulletproof. Like, she's good with the gauntlets and blocking everything. But, like, I don't think she's bulletproof.
No, because she's been fucking thrown through the ground and stuff like that will penetrate you quicker than a bullet, mate. You know what I mean? If you want to get into the physics of things.
Well, I mean, if Hitler had his way, Wonder Woman would get penetrated pretty quick. But I mean,
exactly. But you know what I mean. But you know what I mean. Like, she's like, there's all types of things that would pass through her skin if not a bullet, like like shrapnel and stuff like that. And she's impenetrable to it, in my opinion.
Whatever.
In my opinion. I mean, like, because when she did get shot, she was surprised by it. and it only happened when she was and well, one bullet didn't it damaged her, like marked her on her chest, but it didn't penetrate her skin. It just like just fell down. But the one which hit her on the shoulder went through.
Okay.
And she seemed surprised. Sorry, one more thing. She seemed surprised by it because, like, why the fuck is this happening? I'm Wonder Woman.
I mean, I felt like the whole power, like, okay, so losing of the powers it's been done in Spider-Man 2. It's been done in, there's probably a list
Superman
of
movies. 2. And like I said, this film resembles Superman in various ways.
But so I felt like this, the way they did it in this movie was better than some of the other ones. Like Peter Parker losing his powers in Spider-Man 2 was just like, I'm Spider-Man no more. And then just like he starts losing his powers, and it's like, that's not how
I did not like that storyline being done in the second movie. It felt too early for something like that. It would have been better in the third. But that's just my opinion. I felt like, he just got his powers in the end of by the end of the first one. Now we're dealing with his powers, and he's already losing them. I was like, come on, it's a bit early for this.
Yeah,
but that's just my opinion.
All right, so are we wanting to move into characters? How do we want to keep moving on in this?
Oh, I did have a few more things to say regarding.
Okay,
maybe it will pop back. It has slipped my mind. Hopefully, it will pop back a little bit later. But regarding some of the characters, I want to start with Maxwell Lord for a start. Now, a lot of people were saying, upset for some reason because apparently he resembles Trump. If that's the case, so fucking what? We've had loads of fucking, presidents being mocked, in various ways. It happened with Clinton. It's happened with Bush. It's even fucking happened with Obama. In various ways, they've been sent up or used or parodied, during those periods when those films were made, as when they were president. So it's no different with this guy. And in all honesty, this guy is nothing like Donald Trump, because this guy, Maxwell Lord, cares for his son. And that's a big difference compared to Donald Trump. You know what I mean?
Zing!
So, and for me, that alone makes him nothing like him. You know what I mean? That alone. So, nevertheless, I thought Pedro Pascal was, in my opinion, the best thing about this fucking film. Sorry, I remember what I wanted to say. I do remember the men in this film were kind of a lot of the men were kind of sleazebags, but it was balanced out with Steve Trevor, which, in my opinion, was. And I did say Pedro Pascal was the best thing about this film. I'll take that back. Steve Trevor was the best thing about this movie.
I was just gonna say, I agree. Pedro Pascal, great, and the character was pretty well written. But I think Chris Pine edges him out on this one.
He's so lovable and so likable. He's so lovely.
Said, he pulled off the fish out of water. And as I said, it's been done so many times, but for some reason it felt very fresh with Chris Pine in this. He's lovable. He's gullible. He's naive, but yet he has common sense. You know what I mean?
He feels like Diana's equal as well. Like, he doesn't feel like somebody who's suppressed. Like, Diana needed him to fly a plane, which I'm kind of surprised that Diana can't fly fucking planes herself. I'm really surprised by that. I thought she would know by now. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's something she was just scared to do because of the trauma.
The trauma?
Of losing Steve, and he was a pilot.
Oh, yes. It's a good point, actually. And, but yeah, that's a good point. But nevertheless, I did like his return. He was a good counterbalance to all the other fucking dickhead males in this movie. And I can understand they're trying to make a lot of guys just not understand what it's like to be an arsehole towards women. And you look back at some of the stuff, even just a few years ago, we've had to change as men to be more self-aware of how much of a sleazebag and how uncomfortable we can make women. And sometimes I'm very self-aware of that. Just being a fucking cab driver, I never want to make my female customers feel uncomfortable with me in the car when I'm talking to them. So seeing all these guys being assholes and then having someone like Steve Trevor to be the counter to that felt fucking great. Best character. He was in just in the middle of the film pretty much, and he did serve a purpose. And it was interesting how they brought him in. With the
I like and I was gonna bring up that point. I like the way they did it, where he was inhabiting somebody's body rather than him just magically showing up.
Yeah, Quantum Leap, and and it was interesting, like like as much as like what with Wonder Woman, like she kind of knows that this is something going on here. This is a bit weird, but she doesn't care too much. She kind of forgets about it. Like shouldn't we investigate why the hell my dead boyfriend inhabiting the body of another man, and for that reason alone, when even though she brought it up, she never really cared that much. She just happy to have Steve with him. And once she realized things were going to shit, that's when she gave up Steve. And she wasn't willing to give him up either. Even though he was inhabiting another guy's body, who fuck knows could have been losing his job by now because of Steve. You know what I mean? Or whatever. He was supposed to meet his girlfriend or whatever.
Just wanted that good old pine, baby.
I was a bit worried that he was a relative of Steve Trevor, which is why he inhabited the body. Did you think that?
I did not, actually. I that never crossed my mind until you just said it.
Yeah, but it was interesting, and then I like the fact that she had to give him up as well. And it was easy. Like
I know we're jumping around.
Yeah, go on.
I was saying I know we're jumping around, but can we talk about that scene? Because that was actually a really good scene. I liked it.
She's crying when she gave him up.
I actually she was okay. I'm just Chris Pine in this movie just knocks it out of the park. I was very frustrated when I saw him already coming back, and I'm like, God, like he died. He died in the last movie. Why are we bringing him back already? Like this is another example of like no consequences. Like he dies and then he comes back in the next movie. Now for Diana, I know she's had like 70 or 60 years without him, but for us as a fan, we're like, there's no consequences because that, hey, Chris Pine's coming back in the next movie.
It was clever how they done it. I got to tip my hat to them. It made sense.
Yeah, it made sense. And I mean, Chris Pine in this movie, just like it made me not care that it was that I didn't want it prior to, because just Chris Pine is just a gem. I wish he would have stayed.
And Bruce Wayne needs to thank Chris Pine, because if it wasn't for Chris Pine, she would have still remained a fucking hermit, because she was living alone, not fucking interacting with any other guys after her death for 70 fucking years, not doing anything, not having new relationships, nothing, just being alone. And before he went, just telling her, live a life, meet other people, it's fine, it's okay. You're going to live for a very long time. I don't have to be the only person in your life.
Well, and even she says, she's like, I will never love again. And he's just like, you can see it on his face. He's like, no, that's not what I want. Yeah. That's what Chris Pine, man. I loved him in this movie.
God, he's more progressive than most progressives, and he's fucking from 1910s.
Well, that's the way. Let's be real. That's the way the character's written. If Chris Pine was an actual guy from 1910,
and he had Wonder Woman as his fucking girlfriend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel. I mean, even in 1910,
fucking cooch down for 70 years for him. For fuck's sake, he must be loving it, man.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, Steve Trevor is not written as your typical 1910s guy. Really. I mean, they're all, even back then, they were all chauvinistic assholes, and they weren't good.
Pilot, of course he is.
Yeah, like, I mean, so let's be real. Like, is Steve Trevor realistic for his character? No. But honestly, I don't care. I like him. I like his character. I get it that it's not what it would be if it were, but whatever.
And thank you. And like I said, if it wasn't for him, then Bruce Wayne wouldn't have a shot at Diana. But you can never tell if Bruce Wayne wants to go there or not. He's so fucked in the head.
Well, but I mean, that was animated. In the animated series, it was always, in the
Diana was all over him, man. In Justice League Animated, she was all over him.
Yeah, in the comic books, that was never a thing. Like, it was always like the Wonder Woman Superman thing. In the comic books, it wasn't. Like, but in the animated series, Kevin Conroy and I don't remember the actress's name who played Wonder Woman. They just had a chemistry whenever they were together. It just naturally happened. And that's what you have to do. You have to take characters that have natural chemistry on screen and like get that. Like, there's other examples and I can't think of them right now, but like characters that have natural chemistry that work their way together, which is like totally against the source material. So, I mean, you just gotta, I don't know.
It also seems a bit wrong because Superman himself has got a couple of his own love interests, his Smallville love interests in Lana and obviously Lois. So, you don't need to throw Wonder Woman in the mix, you know. And if anything, I find it far more interesting that a goddess like Wonder Woman is interested in a fucking introvert like Batman. You know what I mean? So I find that far more interesting than the most powerful of superheroes getting it together. You know, this is a much better dynamic. Now, regarding Wonder Woman, did you feel she was more like Superman in this movie? Because some people are very split on Wonder Woman regarding how she's supposed to be as a character. Like, she you know, is she this warrior, or is she this, you know, person who would try to resolve issues without fighting first, but, you know, is willing to fight for what's right, obviously, like Superman is. I mean, what is she? Is she both? Can she be both?
I can't give you an answer like right now, like without thinking about it. Like, and I don't want to sit here and think about it, obviously, for 5 minutes. This is the DCEU Wonder Woman. Like, it is what it is. I mean,
I had no problem with her being sorry, go on.
Well, here, and this is the one word that came to my head after I got done watching this movie, and I thought about it, that this Wonder Woman, I meant to bring it up earlier in my overview thoughts, but it felt like Wonder Woman, like not Wonder, and I'm not meaning this in a derogatory way, but it felt like the Wonder Woman from Wonder Woman 1 and now the Wonder Woman in this one felt very domesticated. Like, she's gone from this Amazonian warrior to this domesticated superhero, if you know what I mean. I'm trying not to be derogatory. I can't explain it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It makes total sense.
Yeah, like I feel like that, you know, as I said, and not even to her detriment, because it's not that it was a bad thing. It's just like it was a definite tonal shift. And I get it. 70 years may change a person, or 60 years, or whatever it is.
Yeah, right. Especially living living in the real world outside of the bubble of Themyscira.
Yeah,
you know, so I mean, different people, different personalities.
But I definitely, and I don't get me wrong, I'm always a sucker for super heroics, like on a, you know, them like saving children, like they did in the Middle East, which I think was Bialya, wasn't it? That's one of the made up DC countries. It's kind of like Latveria, but
no, they went to Egypt.
Was that in Egypt?
They went to Egypt.
They mentioned Bialya. So
no, I mean, they might have mentioned it as a city,
maybe. But okay, but I mean, at the beginning of the movie, I was loving it. The stopping of the robbery, you know, I love those generic.
It's happening in Washington D.C., mate. By the way, you understand that this is Washington D.C. Who the fuck does robberies in shopping malls in that city? You know what I mean? It's so crazy.
Well, Americans are pretty dumb, especially in the 80s. So
I'm thinking that the whole time they're in fucking Washington and all these fucking stupid robberies, and, you know, like. Oh god, it was very, very bizarre. But just going back to the personality of her, I liked it. You know, like this is, yeah, she is very much female Superman in this in various ways, like even fucking flying and shit, or gliding, so to speak. But
I just feel like we got a very different, and I know the DCEU is all over the place, so I understand that. I'm not saying that this is something.
No, but when she's been Diana Prince, she's such a nice person, like. She sees that Barbara is obviously a lonely person, and she reaches out and, you know, does the humanitarian thing, because, you know, superheroes, they have, you know, people like when you're those sort of superheroes like Superman and Wonder Woman, you're not only a hero, but you're generically a good person. Like, you want to be good to people. It comes naturally, and that's how she is. Like when I mean. I totally forgot that they're not supposed to kill those Secret Service agents until she mentioned it. You know what I mean? I thought, yeah, just kill them and get the Max Lord. But yeah, those guys are under fucking mind control. So she pointed that out to Steve, so they wouldn't kill him. But Steve was ready to kill him. You know? And those are the sort of things that make her a superhero. You know?
And yeah, and I mean, I was gonna bring something else up, and I don't remember. Keep going.
I'm just saying, like, you know, regarding her. Like, but would the warrior side of her care about that? If she, you know, being Wonder Woman, does it matter that those people are under mind control? Wouldn't she want to kill them? But obviously, I'm glad she didn't, because that would be a horrendous thing for someone like Wonder Woman to do. But the only time we ever really saw it as a warrior is that when she's going up against super villains, like epic super villains of epic proportions, like fucking Doomsday and shit. You know, then you saw the warrior in her in Batman versus Superman.
Well, and that's what the point I wanted to bring up was that I feel like we got a very different Wonder Woman between Wonder Woman 1, Batman v Superman. Well, whatever movie, whatever order, but I feel like we've got it in a very, and I know the character, like, and this is the problem where they jump around time and do stuff like this, because it's like, I feel like we have a Wonder Woman, like we got one Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman, one in the original Wonder Woman, and now we've got a completely different Wonder Woman in 1984 that should be a halfway point between Batman v Superman and the original. And I don't feel like that's what that is. I like the progression of Wonder Woman between the first and the second movie. The Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman feels completely different, and it's supposed to be like one of the more recent Wonder Womans.
Okay,
like,
I see the progression. I see it personally. You know, she's pretty much just a child in the fucking first Wonder Woman back in 1910. You know, coming to Earth with the naivety of a child, just discovering new things. And there was an innocence to that, and obviously she was also up for the fight as well, because she was, you know, because like I said, she was naive, but she discovered things along the way, and it made her a better person. In the second one, losing Steve, she kind of was in her shell, but she was never not approachable to a degree to certain people. She still mingled to a degree. Obviously, she didn't want anything to do with any other guy and stuff like that, but she was still being this particular good person until Steve told her to live her life. Now you see her in Batman versus Superman, which is further in the timeline, and she's fucking confident as fuck. You know what I mean? She's willing to, you know, she doesn't care if people all got all eyes on her and stuff like that. She's way more outgoing in Batman versus Superman, the most outgoing of all. So it makes sense, you know, regarding the progression of her character. I see the changes and stuff like that. It works for me. I'm not sure if regarding how I described it.
I mean, as I said, the progression seems a little odd, and it's because the movies were made out of order. Like they're not in. So I mean, and even the Wonder Woman in Justice League feels a little bit different than the Wonder Woman we were left with in 1984. So it's just like that's a little. I mean, if let's say you watch these in chronological order, you know, like let's say you watch it in Wonder Woman 84, Batman v Superman, and then Justice League, whether it's Snyder cut or not. I hate this stupid Snyder cut. Regardless, you're still gonna get I feel like the characters jumping all. I see the progression between the first one and the 84, but I feel like it's very jarring for the Justice League and Batman v Superman, like the Snyder cut versions, or not the Snyder cut, the Snyder versions of Wonder Woman versus the Patty Jenkins versions of Wonder Woman. I may just be nitpicking. I like the Wonder Woman in the movies, in the 1984 movies, or in the Patty Jenkins movies. I just feel like it's you can tell more so than others that this is definitely two different writers, and there's not much cohesion between the two different.
I vaguely remember what Wonder Woman was like in the Justice League movie. Very little comes to mind.
She was completely different than in Batman v Superman. So I mean, it's like, as I said, it's jarring no matter which way you go.
I really can't think of anything with her in it where it was significantly about her. I can't think of a damn fucking thing.
Her versus Batman with the whole
Superman, you mean?
Bringing Superman back? No, not the fight. Like her, like the verbal exchanges between her and Bruce Wayne about bringing Superman back.
Oh man, they just want to fuck each other, man. That's all it is.
And the verbal alter, you know, the cat and mouse of them in the beginning of the movie. Was that Batman v Superman?
I think personally, I want to pay off with those two personally, because for too long, since like the cartoons and stuff have teased it. And I think it's about time now that we've had enough of this. Will they, won't they? Let's just pay it off. Let's fucking pay it off, man. You know what I mean? Bruce Wayne's a fucking player. He can bang anything. So pay it off for fuck's sake. Because this is ridiculous. You know, with a fucking... And we won't get a payoff, unfortunately, because Ben Affleck's making his final Batman, which he'll probably regret, in my opinion.
Probably. So, what did you think about the Lasso of Truth stuff?
the lasso. I found it weird how she was using it. Like she's catching bullets and then she's pulling on clouds. Like what did she just lasso a seagull or something? There's something out there I didn't fucking see. And she's using it to fly to a degree, so like turning it into a fucking propeller and shit. It was...
Well, I mean, I feel like towards the end, wasn't she just flat out flying? Like I felt like
she was gliding. She was like because she lassoed on. I mean, that thing can extend as well. God knows how far she was from the aeroplane, but she lassoed onto the plane. And next thing you know, she's flying all the way to Themyscira. I mean, she should have turned into a giant block of ice at some point. But nevertheless, she kind of flew there. Oh, did she fly to Themyscira?
No, that's how it ended. Back to her apartment.
Yeah, yes, to get the armor. Well, I was wondering when she was going to get that. Yeah, it felt like it wasn't that on the way, or that felt a bit weird, disjointed.
Yeah, I mean, the whole armor thing was kind of like.
You can only make one wish, by the way, and yet Cheetah was able to make 2 wishes. The only reason I put that down, how she was able to pull that off, is that the first wish she made was on the stone, and the second wish she made was with Maxwell, and that's how she was able to pull it off. That's the only logical reason.
Are you talking about Cheetah?
Yeah, when Barbara becomes Cheetah, like I want to be an apex predator, and then I'm thinking to myself, I hear voices inside my head, you know, and Randy Orton's going to come out and fucking RKO and shit.
There's some wrestling in your DC fans. So I mean, this is a good way to transition into Cheetah. So, what did you think about her progression through the whole movie? I mean, starting from Blumbler.
We'll start talking about some of the characters. We'll start with Cheetah. I feel really bad for characters like this. Like these are really good, innocent people who've ended up getting maybe what they wanted, but it's turned them into a fucking asshole by getting it, you know. And this story's been done before. It's been done with Jamie Foxx's character with Electro. It's been done. I would guess
you didn't
maybe
wish for it though.
No, but the point is, we're talking about people who are good people end up becoming evil. And those are I always feel a bit bad about those ones. You know, Norman Osborn, you know, he wasn't an evil in the Raimi universe. Norman Osborn never came across as evil. He was a rich fucking guy, but he never came across as evil. You know, a corporate man and stuff like that, but not fucking mustache twirling evil. Maybe not, you know. So, and then obviously he gets the gas in him and he becomes an evil fucker. And so you get those feelings and ideas from it when you see someone like Barbara becoming a bad guy. I did like this. I did like seeing Kristen Wiig in this role, but she's more known for comedies, and she was doing a little bit of comedy in her role. But I liked her getting serious and stuff like that, and I appreciate this. She was such a left field pick for this character, but I thought she was good. Not great, but good. Definitely.
I felt that as well. I felt like once she started getting serious and kind of got that, I actually was really surprised. I was like, okay, the blundering idiot from Ghostbusters is actually pulling off, you know, this whole nerd going bad, being corrupted by the popular side of the Force type thing, you know.
Exactly, and I already knew that what she lost was her humanity by gaining popularity. I knew that was going to be, you know, what she sacrificed. It was obvious even before Wonder Woman brought it up. I'm not sure how I felt. You know what? They should never have made her Cheetah. They should have made her what she was. You know, that's the 21st century Cheetah. You know, without having to fucking have a tail coming at. You really think so?
I disagree. I get where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I really do get where you're coming from. You know, it does look a little ridiculous, but at the same time, I kind of wanted a epic cheetah fight with Wonder Woman.
And I mean, the moment I saw, if I was in her position, I thought, what? I didn't want to fucking become this. I renounced my wish. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? I mean, she's not this. You know, the only people I would know who want to bang someone like her. And obviously, I'm bringing it down to wanting to like obviously have hip action here. I do apologize, but the only person I know who would want to bang someone like her is Buck Grimes, because he's a furry.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he is, mate. So
okay.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I mean, look, it was a bit unfortunate. You know, some of the female characters were not some of the female characters. Just Barbara herself was all about being maybe more desirable and stuff like that. I can understand, obviously, after bumping into someone like fucking Diana Prince, who seems like the most perfect person on the planet because she is.
Yeah, I really don't feel like she should have been like wished to be the apex predator. I feel like that maybe should have become a side effect of something, like a side effect of, like, the monkey's paw. Like, like she gets all of Wonder Woman's power,
Yeah,
but
but she wasn't a biologist, was she? I mean, that's one of the reasons how she got it in the past.
well, I mean, if she falls into like a vat of kittens and
Oh,
then
please. About kittens.
then becomes
Yeah, but I felt like she was also there just so Wonder Woman could have a fight, because she needed a fight, because she's not going to fight Maxwell Lord, is she? So and not a physical
although she
fight.
did struggle against Maxwell Lord, it feels like.
Well, that's because Maxwell Lord had bodyguards.
Well, which is fine. No, I mean at the end, which this is a great way to segue into the end, where it's like,
but in the sense that but that was it was still different though. It's like when it came to a punch up, like Maxwell Lord with his sort of powers, he doesn't need to have a punch up with her. You know what I mean? So when it came to the physicality, that's I really felt Cheeto was in there. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of like having more than one villain in a movie. I think it takes away from both villains by having two villains in a film. It was a good idea at first, having a few villains here and there and stuff like that, so you get them all in the film instead of having to, make a ton of the same fucking film with different villains in it.
I feel like you should do one of two things. I feel like you should start a villain in a movie for a future payoff in a future movie, or you should just make it a cameo appearance. Like, just like, Wonder Woman fighting, like, let's say Cheetah was already a thing and Wonder Woman was fighting Cheetah, like in the beginning or something like that. Like
but then people will want an origin eventually. They'll have to cover those lines, something like that.
No one's going to be happy no matter what you do. So, I mean, that's like the whole Rhino situation. It's like, you got Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but it's like everybody thought that it was, and he's even on the cover art. But it's just like it was just a cameo at the beginning and a cameo at the end. Spoiler alert, by the way, for Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. But you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Sometimes with the game, the only, and even they've screwed this up sometimes. The only people who have been able to pull it off is like the MCU, really. I mean, and they've even had their hiccups. I mean, look at Whiplash and Justin Hammer. Like, I mean, those two peas in a pod, in my opinion. But they both suffered from being two villains in one movie, and they were this is the exact same thing. You've got Cheetah, who's got like Wonder Woman-esque powers at this point, and and then you've got the billionaire person behind the suit, in Maxwell Lord. Like in Iron Man 2, that was the exact same thing. You had Whiplash, who eventually wound up being in a Iron Man suit, and Justin Hammer, who was
but Justin Hammer and Whiplash, they needed each other. Justin Hammer needed his intelligence, and Whiplash needed his tech and his equipment and his resources, and so they needed each other. But then you look at something like Spider-Man 3, where you have two people from totally different spectrums in Sandman and fucking Venom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like that's having two villains there who are, and when you don't, and there was a fucking 3 or 4 villains in that fucking movie anyway. So anyway, what's he saying?
Can't link for it. Think Warner Brothers have done enough to make this available outside for US, Canada. I don't know what that means.
Okay. I want to quickly, did we really talk about Maxwell Lord? But I wanted to bring up his powers, because it was interesting that he decided to become the stone.
The stone itself. Yeah, that was very, I thought that was very interesting.
And it immediately made me remind me of films like, have you seen Wishmaster?
No.
It's a horror movie. Man, I think Megan will like that. She likes horror movies, doesn't she?
Not in particularly, but
fair enough. Basically, it's a really clever. These are horror movies that I appreciate because it's really clever. He's basically an evil genie. You ask for, he wants you to ask for a wish, but it's obviously a wish with a price. So like this one woman says, "I want to be beautiful forever." So he turns her into a mannequin.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean?
That's
And
freaking crazy.
yeah, so exactly. So this kind of reminded me of that a little bit, but I liked the way he was able to manipulate, and it was a bit of a Loki sort of thing. This mischievous god and stuff like that, which created this. I know, like I said, the way Gal Gadot, was trying to describe all this shit when she found a little remnants of what was left of the stone. I didn't understand what the fuck she was talking about because I couldn't understand her. But I like the fact that he was in the way that he would give you what you wanted, but he would take something from you in return. It was fascinating, and he got greedy. He got really greedy.
Oh yeah, he wanted the well, he wanted to basically make his company make it its own country. Like he just had complete autonomy from the United States and doing no taxes. No, I mean that's what I gathered. I'm like, why didn't you just take the presidency then at that point? Like what? I mean, I guess he probably didn't want it, but at the same time, I mean, who would want to be the president? Let's be real. But
yeah, it's amazing how everyone was just under his control. Even people who were not under the spell but still followed what he was doing because the president said so and stuff like that. Oh god! And like it makes sense how the whole world was fucking up as well. Near the end, like you see everyone, trashing it and stuff like that. This was never brought up in the previous DC movies that this happened in 1984, by the way. But nevertheless, this catastrophic event in 1984 almost happened in this universe. And I found that really interesting and found that really weird. It just showed you the effect of what would happen when you get your wish granted, especially by somebody who would want something in return. I like that. He was a very interesting villain, and
it was definitely different. That's what I liked about Maxwell Lord. And Pedro Pascal is definitely he's like this diamond in the rough that like you just he's so good and you don't think he should be, but like he is. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I don't know. All right, so he has given us a couple comments. He said a plutocracy. I don't know what that means.
Plutocracy, yeah. I can't really explain it.
Maxwell Lord's power he can make propel.
He can make people do what he wants. Yeah. I mean, that's his classic. That's how he is. He's a bit like the Purple Man of DC.
Yeah.
He's pretty much that's how he is. I looked up onto this character, but they obviously had to change him around. He's really Max Lourdes or something like that for a start. And obviously he gets people to do what he wants by granting them wishes, which is interesting. And I like the slant on the character. It was really good. Yeah, I do feel the comic books are going to take this route from now onwards.
And then Wonder Woman kills him in the books, and the world sees it and makes people distrust Wonder Woman. Which honestly, that would have been I think that would have been a good ending. But the problem is and then you out Wonder Woman as Wonder Woman, and then it doesn't make sense with the DCEU. But in all retrospect, who cares anymore?
For a start, I mean, the way she was like, even though she didn't wear her outfit often, she did wear her outfit. She didn't, and you would have thought people would have known she was Wonder Woman anyway. That period.
Once she got rid of all the cameras and stuff with her tiara,
and she's Bruce Wayne says she hasn't been seen for fucking years and stuff like that. She was seen in '84. You telling me nobody knew she was around in '84? I mean, she was in the fucking White House.
Mm-hmm. Thing is, the multi-villains can work. See The Dark Knight. No, because The Dark Knight was Joker's movie, and I mean, Two-Face got really shafted in that movie. If Two-Face would have lived and then went on into the third movie, that would have been okay. But I strongly disagree with the whole Dark Knight thing because there was one villain there was an origin for a villain in The Dark Knight, but there was one main villain, and that was the Joker. Two-Face just kind of came along at the end and honestly should have lived.
Him in.
Huh? Yeah, it was basically the Venom of Spider-Man 3. Like it was shoehorned in, but the thing is that I don't think it was the studio shoehorning him in. I think it was just the writing, like and Nolan just wanting to put two. I feel like go ahead.
He should have ended regarding Harvey Dent. The moment his face was burnt and he went to hospital, that should have been the last we should have seen of him. until the next movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't disagree.
and then and then Harvey Dent's done. He's dead, and then we now have Two-Face in Batman 3. We don't need
I
Bane
agree.
and all of that shit. I
That
didn't
would have
mind Bane, by the way, but that would have been better. Two-Face would have been a great third act villain for somebody who's,
especially with all the buildup in the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But they had to go with Bane and Talia, and it's like, oh god, just stop. Like if I would have been okay with Talia in the third movie if she was like a background villain, like she was kind of in the Dark Knight Rises. But it's like Bane was a good villain ish, but like Two-Face would have been the greatest third movie villain for that franchise, I feel.
For sure, and it would have been they would have hopefully giving him a whole movie. It would have been a nice way to give him justice, no pun intended, being Harvey Dent. But
yeah, and also he wouldn't. I mean, because like Two-Face sometimes
considering what they did with Batman Forever, which is about to say, yeah.
Well, yeah, Batman Forever. But then if you look at him in the comic books, if you look at him in the Arkham games, he's just a thug. Like, yeah. So, all right. So we got a couple comments here. Batman Begins was a multi-villain. It worked because Jonathan Crane is a lower level villain. I disagree, but I did think
you're talking about the fucking Scarecrow here.
Yeah, I disagree that he's a lower tier villain, but I feel like he was well used in that movie. And I also feel
Gary Gates.
Huh?
Oh. Gary Gates, man, Jesus. Gary Gates is so right. He's so right. So somebody mentioned this in a review I saw. Let me read what he says. A bunch of extra scrapes and bruises. Diana had sex with him at least once without his consent. The whole movie, they were risking this man's life without letting him choose to get involved. And that's obviously the body Steve Trevor is inhabiting.
I don't think the guy really would shy away. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't.
And where was his consciousness, by the way? Where did his consciousness go? You know what I mean? Where the fuck did he go?
Well, and here's the thing. Like, okay, so he looks in the mirror and he sees the other guy. Does Diana see the other guy the whole time and they just made it like Steve face so that we just didn't get confused? Or was it like she actually saw him?
Well, this is the thing. Some people are saying that she saw him as him, whilst he still looked the same to everybody else. Whilst other people are saying that because he said the right things, she just imagined this guy looking like Steve. Either way, he looked like he was supposed to look like to everybody else. Either way,
if this dude figured this out, that's some Baron Zemo level of getting Putang right there.
Yeah, exactly. And she had a little chat with him. By the way, I can understand why they brought this film out on Christmas Day, because when it ended with Christmas, which was interesting. But
I guess we're moving into the section of the review where we discuss with the chat, because the chat's coming in. So finally.
No problem. But I like the way that she was like, this guy was the guy who Steve inhabited. He just happened to be there and stuff like that. And she just seemed more open now to meeting people, but obviously not too soon. She just fucking lost Steve just about 10 minutes ago. So I'm glad she didn't jump straight into the sack. What Gary Gates has said of his return are pretty unusual, even for restrictions. Phil Owen. What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe that's another reviewer or somebody. Okay, the first part is, let's talk about Steve Trevor's problematic resurrection in Wonder Woman 1984. This is probably a quote from somebody else. Wonder Woman uses magic to bring Steve back from the dead, but the circumstances of his return are pretty unusual, even for resurrections. And I guess Phil Owens, December 26, 2022. I don't know.
I disagree with that, because I'm not a big fan of bringing people back from the dead. But when it comes to dealing with something which creates wishes, and she wished him to come back from the dead, and how they did it, it makes sense, even for somebody who doesn't like this sort of shit in the first place. It totally made sense. I mean, this guy, the last thing he remembers was dying in the fucking plane. Next thing he knows, he's fucking alive in somebody else's body. It totally makes sense.
Phony B says that he wants Baron Zemo to come back. Yes, and he's coming back in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm excited. He also says, thing is, DC usually keeps its villains alive, than Marvel does, which is kill them and they have to make new villains. I guess. I hope I read that right. It's a little bit.
The thing is, DC usually keeps its villains alive. Yeah, you know what Marvel does though. That they do a lot more like
They've
sowing
killed a
the
lot.
seeds for the future. Like
Marvel's killed a lot of villains.
the Marvel's got a lot of villains, but like they do sow their seeds. Like they plant their seeds for what's going to happen down the line. Like Rhodey didn't become Iron Man, so he didn't become War Machine until Iron Man 2, which is why he said next time, baby, in the first one. They are planting the seeds for shit to happen, but with DC, it's like, oh, it's got to happen right now. It's got to happen there and then. I mean, put them straight into we're not going to let this person build up to the next movie, but there might not be a next movie, but this movie might flop because that's how we operate.
I don't know.
So we need to build them up straight away.
I mean, Gary Gates is throwing out a lot of quotes here. Hold on. Okay, so Gal Gadot apparently said, if you aren't feminist, you're sexist, and that's by whoever Joanne Valentine. Okay, and then he also says, either you're a feminist or you're a sexist. Wonder Woman herself would know.
I don't get it.
This is probably quotes from the first movie, or not from the first movie, but because I mean, this is all from like August 24th, 2017, August 28th. So, and the movie came out in July, I think, 2020 or 17. Rubbish version of Superman 3 and 4. No, I would say this is better than Superman 3 and 4.
I want to go with Gary. I mean, they were taking. The funny thing is, like with this film, is that they were taking elements from the Christopher Reeve film. Was it Richard Donner who made those movies? Is that the guy's name? But they were taking elements from his style of filmmaking.
I don't know.
Back then, but they didn't go with it for the whole film. They only did it for the beginning when she's like, being friendly neighborhood Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I was surprised. I was surprised not one death in this movie. Very interesting. It's a family film, this movie. 100% family film.
Pony B says he made the first two, and that's what I was thinking. I thought he made the first two, but I didn't want to speak.
I want to disagree with Boss Man here, because Phony B, I love Gene Hackman. I think he's one of the greatest actors of all time, even though some of his characters are very similar, which is why I liked him in Get Shorty. But I did not like his Lex Luthor, because his Lex Luthor has never been the archetype of Lex Luthor. I mean, what's his name? Jesse Eisenberg tried to do maybe a homage to Gene Hackman to a degree with his version of Lex Luthor.
Terrible.
Yeah, but I think he was trying to do a homage to Thingy to a degree, but it was terrible. But Lex Luthor is a lot more. He's a lot calmer. He's a lot more thoughtful, and he's a very calculating individual. And when you see Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, who's setting off a nuclear missile before it's even got a chance to be straightened up. You know what I'm talking about from Superman 4. Mm-hmm. So so no, I've never liked Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. I preferred Clancy. Is it Clancy Brown? Not Clancy Brown. The guy who played the Highlander. He does the voice for not the Highlander. He was in the Highlander movie. Yeah, he played the Devorian in the Mandalorian film, the one with the fucking horns. In that Mandalorian episode where they were doing the jailbreak in season 1, that actor Clancy something or other.
Yeah,
he's the voice. He's the voice of Lex Luthor, and in the DC animated series.
Yeah, Clancy Brown.
I was right, Clancy Brown.
All right, so Gary Gates says there have been five Wonder Woman live action actresses. I know of 3. There's been Linda Carter. There's been what's her face from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Adrienne
Gamble.
Yeah,
I think her name is.
Yeah, that hottie pants. I liked her better as Mockingbird anyway.
She's in Orville as well.
Oh yes, she is. And I don't know who are the other 2. Okay, so we'll keep moving on. He also says Pedro Pascal was in Wonder Woman 2011, and yes, I did read that the other day. I don't remember if he played. I would be funny if he played Steve Trevor on the 2011 TV series pilot. That would have been great. And then Phony B says he was a land developer, and that was his play in all the films. Is he talking about Lex Luthor from the Superman movies?
I'm not sure, but
I haven't seen the Superman movies in so long; it's not even funny.
It's just that a lot of people, say that Kevin Conroy is the Batman. Mark Hamill is the Joker. Clancy Brown is the Lex Luthor, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Oh no,
You know,
I 100% agree. And I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I know I'm gonna get so much shit for this, so much shit. But I liked Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor. I did. I like in Superman Returns.
oh, I couldn't stand it. He was also doing a Gene Hackman. I
Wait,
totally
wait, wait,
forgot
wait,
you.
wait, wait. How could you
I
not?
forgot you.
No, no,
I
no, no,
forgot
no. You get Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, but you can't stand Kevin Spacey.
I never said I liked Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
I didn't say you
thought he
liked
was
it. I said, but you didn't like hate on it. But you're saying, oh, I hate Gene Hackman, or I hate what's his? I hate.
Oh, okay, fine. Oh, I didn't like it either. I like the fact that once he shaved his head and he stopped being a fucking generic dickhead, not generic, like an eccentric dickhead. He seemed to be more like a real Lex Luthor. You know,
Who?
when he was wearing this Jesse Eisenberg. Once in the post-credit scene.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
He went
We're
for
gonna
a character
always
switch. Look. I'm not saying I want Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I don't. I genuinely don't. But at least it felt like the people who are making these DC projects realize, you know what, we can't have him looking like fucking Doc Brown's fucking love child. You know what I mean? We got to fucking shave his fucking head, put him in a suit, and make him a bit more stoic. And that's what they did. And that's the Lex Luthor I prefer, not these fucking dickheads who like losing their shit all the time, who are basically different versions of Donald Trump. Gary Gates.
Would you rather Gina Carino as Wonder Woman? I don't even know who that is. Who is that?
Kathy Lee Crosby. Gina Carino. Oh, Gina Carino is Cara Dune from Mandalorian.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people.
No, I mean, I feel like
I
would feel like that would be more accurate as a Wonder Woman. I mean, she's definitely got the Amazonian look going on.
She's got the physique as well, you know.
Yeah.
Someone like her, or you know, like if unfortunately, I mean, she's actually a lot better actress than people give her credit for. And
I agree. After seeing her, like season 1, there was a couple moments, but definitely going into season 2, she definitely.
But can someone her be a lead? It's different being a supporting character to being a lead, you know. And being a lead is, you know, I don't know, but I wouldn't mind her being Wonder Woman. You know, I would like to see a brutal version of one.
Kathy Lee Crosby as Wonder Woman. What is this? Is this a movie? Hold on. I'm like looking this up right now. TV's original Wonder Woman. It was in 1974. I had no idea about this, by the way. Just saying. So wait. So this was before Linda Carter.
But give us some likes, by the way, guys. That'll be much appreciated as well.
Likes. If you haven't subscribe, please. I mean, you know, we're a small channel trying to grow.
Under the title, Who's Afraid of Diana Prince? The piece starred Ellie Wood Walker as Diana Prince. I don't know who she is. Linda Harrison as Diana's Wonder Woman alter ego, and Maudie Prickett as I have no idea who these people are. Blonde Wonder Woman. It's just like, I mean, who am I to say that doesn't seem right, considering everyone's fucking
Ginger.
Is he speaking her tease again?
No, he says blonde Wonder Woman. I think that's what he's talking about. This Wonder Woman, the Kathy, or not, is it Kathy? Hold on. Yeah, Kathy Lee Crosby is a blonde Wonder Woman. If I can, hold on, let me bring this up. I'll bring up the pictures of her. Hold on.
Please.
There you go, right there. It's hard to see. I'm trying to find a good one that like is, but that's the Wonder Woman they're talking about. Can you see her?
God damn it, man! She looks like Stargirl.
Yeah, she really does.
Like a 70s Stargirl.
I mean, she is
and
definitely.
That outfit looks more like Star Trek.
It does.
Oh my god! You can't beat Linda Carter. Oh, by the way. Talking about Linda Carter, Linda Carter had a cameo in the mid-credit scenes, and it was the most useless CW feeling cameo I've ever seen in my fucking life. It felt like and she played Asteria. Is that how you say her name? It's like Hysteria without the H.
I don't know.
HY, that is. What's these guys saying? How did you feel about seeing Linda Carter come back playing a different character in this universe?
I'm okay with it. Oh God, there was another one. Hold on. Ellie
that
Wood
cameo was
Walker.
so shit. It was so CW, pissed me off. It was the most CW thing I've ever seen in my life. And she's in both universes now. Then again, so was Ezra Miller.
Well, so is Ray Palmer. So, dude, I can't even show these pictures. They're so grainy. But yeah, it looks like 1967. It looks like there was
1967. It's that far back.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, here, hold on. This is a great picture. Hold on, I'm going to bring this one up. Linda Carter is in another world. Yeah, that cameo was shit. Nubia, the twin sister of Diana, will be in Wonder Woman 3. She is the Black Wonder Woman. Okay, I'm down.
Hold on. Her twin sister. No,
Here you go. Wait, hold on. I'm going to bring this up
don't
here.
bring out relatives who haven't been around forever, like John Cena. You know what I mean? Please don't do that. Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah, here you go. See this picture? This is the Wonder Woman they're talking about.
God, it looks like Indian porn. What the hell, man?
Well, I mean, here's
She's about to burst into song. That shit looks like the fucking "I Dream of a Genie" or some shit like that.
Probably. It's 1967. I mean, come on.
Hold on, scroll down a bit. Scroll down a little bit. Was that
What?
Wonder Woman with fucking Batman and Robin?
No, that was not.
Oh damn! I thought it was.
No, it looks like.
Damn! At first glance, I thought it was them. I thought it was Adam West and what's his face, Burt Ward.
Not.
Oh, that's a shame. Phony Beatlemaniacs. Thing is, I'm looking forward to Black Adam if that ever gets made. I'm looking forward to the next Superman if that ever gets made. Hopefully, it's directed by someone who gets Superman. Give me a second.
Here's my hope for Black Adam is I honestly wanted Black Adam to be in Man of Steel 2 because if there's one thing Superman always has a problem with, it's magic, and Black Adam is pure magic. Now I'm okay with Black Adam having his own movie, but I wanted Black Adam to show up. You know, I wanted kind of like Shazam and Black Adam and Superman to kind of share a sequel. So,
look, my problem with the DCEU is that they just take so long in doing anything that by the time they get their thumb out their ass, some of these actors are going to be just too fucking over the hill. I mean, Rock is like 52 years old now. I mean, how long is he? It's just like, you know, Henry Cavill's going to end up looking too old to play like a mid-30s Superman eventually. And it just feels like, they just take too long on these fucking projects, man. I mean, Gal Gadot is supposed to play like somebody who's like forever youthful. Eventually, when she hits her 40s, she's not going to look like how she did 5 years ago, obviously. And they just don't pull their finger out making these fucking movies. They just take too fucking long. There's too much fucking politics. It just pisses me off. And when they do bring something out, it's shit anyway. Fucking hell. Captain Marvelous 2 will be brilliant. Captain Marvelous, or she means Marvel?
Brilliant, which is Brie Larson. No, yeah,
Brie Larson. Brilliant. Oh yeah, I get it.
Brilliant.
I don't have as much hang-ups on her being Captain Marvel like a lot of people do.
I don't have much of a hang-up either. I don't even have an issue with that. I love how in the promotional material for, and I know we're getting off topic here, but I love in the promotional material for Captain Marvel 2 that there are 3 little Captain Marvel. There's like one big Captain Marvel symbol, and then there's 2 little ones. Like, one's Miss Marvel, and then one is whatever her face is. The other one, who oh god, what was her name? Monica Rambeau. Monica Rambeau is going to be in it. All right. So, what do you think of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel from Pakistan? I'm fine with it. We're kind of getting off topic, though. I mean, I do want to do chat driven, but we're kind of talking Wonder Woman. I know we're all over the place, but we do have to kind of keep it on track. Shazam. Okay. Well, then you just transformed into a man-child. Gal will likely be done after Wonder Woman 3 because Wonder Woman 2. I almost said World War 2 because Wonder Woman 2 was so mediocre. I haven't seen it yet. I like Brie as a person, but as Cap Marvel, there's Marvel fanboys who will hate on anything DC do, and that is it's not me. I want good DC movies. I am a Marvel fanboy through and through, but I just want good superhero movies. I just want good
Yeah,
superhero.
likewise. I'm not going to let my fact that because I've enjoyed so many other of their films, let it sway me and stick to myself, make me pass the wrong sort of judgment on another movie because I've liked their previous. If the other movie's shit, I'm going to say it's shit. And the same with this particular film. I'm very torn on Wonder Woman 2. I've never really given my own verdict on this film. I don't know how I feel about it because I thought there were some good elements, but there were some fucking stupid elements. I mean, I'm not saying shit.
Wait, are we talking this movie or the first one?
Wonder Woman 2. I liked Wonder Woman 1 until the final act, which ruined it. I thought the final act of this movie was definitely better than the final act of Wonder Woman 1. But I don't think as a whole this film was as good as Wonder Woman 1. But I did like Steve Trevor a lot more in this movie than in the previous film. And I like Gal Gadot a lot more in the previous movie than I liked her in this film, even though the reasons why I didn't like her that much in this film was nothing to do with how I thought of her as a character. I just found it hard to understand her sometimes. I thought her accent and the way she said some of the words made no sense to me. I'm not sure if I'm the only person who felt like this.
Just going through the comments really quick. Okay, so Phony B, Ginger.
I want to quickly respond to Ginger. Both third acts were terrible, but I do think the third act of the second film was better than the third act of the first. That's what I'm saying.
So Phony B says, I want both to succeed. Agreed. I want a great Sandman TV series. For me, I don't care because I don't know anything about Sandman unless he's got a kendo stick and a beer in his hand. Which that's a wrestling reference. Zam, if you want to chime in on any of these, let me know. I'm just kind of going through and we're kind of getting behind on
Sandman. No, I don't give a fuck about that.
The left hand of DC Comics was publishing the Captain Marvel series, The Monster Society of Evil, in a Shazam Deluxe hardcover form. I don't what. Gary, I'm not following. Historically important shifts of superhero comics into long-form storytelling running serialized from 1943 to 1945. One of the first stories to do so. Okay. Oh, there was a Shazam series out back then. It was on DC Universe. I'm the only one who really subscribed to that. Out of all these jamokes, because I liked actually some of the content on there. It does also contain a number of negative racial. Well, I mean, if you go back to the Batman series back in the 1940s, you also get that, or 1950s, 40s, whatever. I mean, that's all over the place. Okay, so Ginger Greek, don't know who this a-hole is. Comic book fans, enjoys both films. There's no tribalism among true fans. The other idiots give us a bad name. That is true. And that is what Jim was replying to before. No, I disagree. Both. Oh, no, this is what you were replying to. Both third acts were terrible. Yeah, Ginger hates everything. It's okay. And Gary says, Cleopatra, the last Egyptian pharaoh, renowned for her beauty, was part African, says the BBC team, which believes it was found her sister's tomb. Is that?
I want to go. Sorry. Let me respond to that. And I'll chime in.
Which one?
To what Gary's saying.
Well, go ahead. I mean, we're basically caught up, except for Ginger saying he hates everything. Which,
just regarding the ending, I need something to be explained to me. Did once she got the lasso around Max's ankle, did she end up persuading him to change? Did she control him and made him change? And when she said, when he said, "I renounce my wish," everyone else automatically renounced their wish because he was controlling them, or did they all individually renounce their wish? Because trust me, there would be millions of people, tens, maybe, sorry, I apologize, we're talking about the whole planet here. Maybe billions of people who wouldn't renounce shit. You know what I mean? So for everyone to renounce their wish, I found hard to accept. I would not believe it at all. There'll be too many people, or even if we take out billions, millions guaranteed, would not renounce their wish. So what the fuck? I found that stupid. Unless they were all controlled to renounce their wish.
I thought that they mentioned earlier in the film that if Max, I thought they said, and this might be wrong, but I thought they said it earlier in the film, is that if Max renounces his wish, all of the wishes go back. I think. I'm not sure. Maybe. Because I don't remember Cheetah ever saying, "I renounce my wish," but she could have done it off screen.
Yeah, she did.
Did?
I heard. Yeah, she did.
Well, screw her.
She did. I think she did. I'm pretty sure. I'm more sure she did than she didn't.
You are losing sureness by the second, Zam.
No. She did because she was no longer Cheetah. You saw her as
I
Barbara.
did, but I don't remember her saying, "I renounce my wish."
But obviously, it's you. Obviously, you don't need to fucking hear her say it. You can put two and two together. It doesn't take a fucking Einstein to figure out that she did.
Well, then maybe all the people on the earth renounced their wish because you didn't see them do it, but you know what? You know they did.
Yeah, but we're following these fucking characters. But if you're trying to put it logically to people we're not following, obviously we're sure there'll be at least a guaranteed at least one motherfucker who hasn't renounced their wish. Maybe it'll be significant enough, for it to be affecting the whole planet. If one person said, "I want to be the king of the world," then he would still remain king of the world if he didn't renounce his wish, would he?
Sam, this one's for you.
Yeah. Maxwell Lord's secretary had an Eastern European accent like Melania Trump, and she looked like her. Yeah, actually, I never picked up on that.
I didn't either.
I wouldn't say. I think
an accent, but I just never put two and two together.
I mean, I guess maybe she looks a bit like some of his earlier wives, them being blonde. What did Gary say that made sense?
About
he's a con man. Oh yeah. Sorry, my bad. I'm being a bit slow today. So yeah.
Okay. I think how are we doing, Zam? I mean, are you ready to wrap up?
Yeah, I think so. I'm ready to wrap up and then do my own wrapping up afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry, one more thing here from Gary Gates. Wonder Woman is in the Bible. Wonderful. I'm sure you know about that, Bobby. And the Scythians pronounce Scythians, yes, that's how I said it, were a group of ancient tribes of nomadic warriors who originally lived in what is now the southern Siberia Bible. Gary Gates, by the way, we're a small channel, but we're trying to grow. We do Star Trek reviews as well. We were doing Star Wars, but Mandalorian's finished. But we're doing Discovery, and we do weekly chats and stuff like that, and sometimes fan reactions. So subscribe to us, and you'll probably see us next week for another chat about some sort of shit. But we have to go now because we've got shit to do, and it's late for me, but not for you. So don't forget to follow us on Facebook as well as Discord. Look for our logo, which is on this YouTube channel. Look for when you type in Nerd Nation and you see this logo, that's us compared to all the other Nerd Nation channels. The logo is the way. Don't forget to subscribe to us in every fucking way possible. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.